eyes off of either way. So again, I'm expecting to see a severe storm warning issued pretty soon here for the folks around Cloud County. And I'm dealing with the same allergies everybody else is, I think. So bear with me as I sound a little funky here. But we'll get on through this just fine. Current dew points are still in the 60s. And let's check out the radar there. I'm going to zoom in more closely on this. We'll wait for Cloud County to get the update on what's up. So there's a warning coming out. That looks like an update for Jewell County. So in Concordia, you can see the warning got cropped off a little bit. So we have a tag that says considerable on the left side of your screen there. So there's been a report there observed of something going on. So let's see what the observation here is. Glen Elder, we got a report of 9/10 of an inch diameter hail, and also ping pong ball size hail near Cocker a little while ago as well. All right, let's zoom out on this. And again, the storm is moving toward Concordia. And let's check out hail zone. We'll see how large the hail might be in this as well. I'll try the latest frame here. Excuse me. All right, the Weather Service is still saying 2-inch diameter hail is possible with that. Again, it's moving toward folks that are in Concordia. So Concordia, be ready. You could have hail up to 2 inches diameter moving in about a half hour or so. These storms are not racing east, moving east at roughly 25 to 30 miles per hour. But again, this has very big hail with it, and the storms are rotating. So there's the risk of seeing a tornado with this stuff. I'm not saying it will, but it's in an environment where the atmosphere certainly is conducive to produce tornadoes. That's a real possibility this evening. All right, areas farthest to the east like Topeka and Clay Center, Manhattan's going to be a while before the storms actually move in. In Topeka, it's probably going to be after 10 o'clock at the earliest. To the south, Burlington, you've got some rain moving in from your southwest. So you could have rain moving in by maybe 9 or 10 o'clock. But this activity to the north of these individual cells are dangerous, and these storms down to the south, this one particularly is out by itself, and the whole thing has a big ugly rotation to it. So both of those can be watched very closely. The one that's down here just south of Wichita, if it continues making its way to the east, northeast, it could be a problem for folks in Emporia or Burlington. So we watch. The one that's over Beloit has some spin with it. The one over Osborne also has some spin with it. That activity is moving to the east. You can have multiple rotating storms go over the same area. That's not a problem in an atmosphere like this. So Concordia, Clay Center, Washington, even Manhattan should be watching these storms very closely as they get closer to you. And the activity to the south near Wichita is going to head to the east-northeast and could impact Emporia and Burlington. Now, computer models show this all kind of joining up into one big wind event after midnight and then dive into the southeast into the Ozarks and then ultimately parts of Arkansas. Excuse me again there, sorry. All right, so there we go on the HRRR Supercast. If you get past midnight, again, you see wind damage event moving to the east, while the stuff that's over Topeka, Kansas City, most likely that is hail at that time. Another version of the model, there's the IBM graph, again showing the wind event going towards Springfield and leaving us with the hail and heavy rain here, probably some flash flooding tonight. Closer version of the graph showing those lingering storms over our area late. This stuff down to the south is going to be some very wild wind, reaching Springfield, Joplin, Bolivar, as we get past 11 o'clock. And this activity here should linger late into the night, keeping us in this risk of at least some hail and damaging winds very late into the overnight. I'm getting our new computer model in. This is the, I'm watching a 0Z, meaning that at 7 p.m. the National Weather Service sends up a bunch of weather balloons all around the world. And that stuff goes into our supercomputer to let us know what the computers think is going to happen. And it's very consistent with what I'm saying here. The stuff from Jewell County continues going east toward Concordia. The stuff that's near Wichita continues going northeast toward Emporia and Burlington. Excuse me. And then late tonight we'll have a wind event diving across the Ozarks, and then we'll have this hail lingering around northeast Kansas very late in the night. So humidity's been increasing all day. There's the warning now in Concordia. Say it's radar indicated. I'm going to read the text to this to you. And see what we've got. So the Weather Service says at 8:13 p.m. They had a severe storm over Beloit, moving east at 30. Golf ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And arriving in Jamestown at 8:35. Concordia around 8:50. I don't see that making it in my bug and crawl system just yet, which is concerning. All right, so Concordia, you are in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. And that storm is moving toward Concordia. Has hail about the size of a golf ball is what they're mentioning with this. There we go. Now it's running into my system. There we go. So now we have Cloud County is in the bug and crawl that's running on TV right now. And as we can see there, there's the severe storm moving toward Concordia right now, coming in straight from the west. You can already see the lightning there in town. So what I'm going to do here is watch that storm move in, see how big the hail is, see if there's any sort of wind damage, if it intensifies or starts to rotate or what it does. The phone on the weather desk is ringing. I'm not going to answer that right now. So, again, we have a good look at this thing from that camera on top of Cloud County Community College. If it produces a funnel cloud or something like that, we should be able to see it very well. All right, so one county under a warning here in northeast Kansas at this point. Go back to the home view here and check out the overall radar picture. We have storms that are south of Emporia at this point, actually southwest of Emporia, close to Wichita, that are a concern. I am concerned about this stuff that's moving into Cloud County. This thing could become rotation strong enough to warrant tornado warnings. We'll see. This storm, making its way just south of Wichita now, is heading to the east-northeast and could impact areas from Lyon County and certainly Burlington within 2 hours or so, around 10 o'clock. So we have to watch that one very close as well. And then we have more severe storm warnings popping up in southwest Nebraska. There's a lot of energy behind this. This isn't just kind of the beginning of it, really. It's not this is several hours from over. Excuse me. All right, let's go back to that camera in Concordia. Let me get a look at this, the shape of this cloud that's kind of to the north and west of town. There we go. All right, back to the cams. Bring that back up here. All right. And from Concordia, I'm looking to the northwest now, so you can see kind of a shelf look there just north of town. That's where very heavy rain is falling. And it's turning around a little bit to the left. You can see kind of that shelf shape there in this. So you've got some inflow into this, and no doubt it's a powerful storm. It's got hail about the size of a golf ball, if not a little bigger. And, you know, again, it's a severe storm warning for Concordia and Cloud County. It is not a tornado warning. I don't want to scare anybody. But this is an environment that could, you know, upgrade at any point. So we're going to let you know if it continues to intensify. But right now, it's a severe storm warning with hail the size of quarters is the primary offense by this storm. So I'm trying to zoom that out. I want to make a time lapse of that storm cloud as it makes its way into Concordia. It's a really neat looking cloud that should be interesting to look at later when we have more time. But again, looking off to the west-northwest from the horizon, from Concordia, you can see the lightning there. That's where the heavy rain begins. Below it looks like a shelf cloud to me. Not sure that's exactly what it is from that angle. The part we'd be worried about if it was going to start spin is closer to Beloit, and that's all moving east at 30 miles per hour. So again, hail the size of quarters, or hail the size of golf balls is possible with this, and moving toward areas like Concordia and Jamestown, and putting on the hail here. The Weather Service on this still saying that hail about 2 inches diameter possible near Beloit, and about the size of a golf ball possible for folks that are over in the Concordia area. This storm that's near Wichita has strong winds with it. With that whole storm, you can see it's kind of got that inland hurricane look to it, a lot like the thing we had come through Topeka and northeast Kansas last Sunday night. We had that night we had 3 different tornado warnings at one time, all in Shawnee County, at least some parts of Shawnee County. Just amazing. This stuff to the north. This is what we have to watch for Concordia, over to Clay Center, Washington. Excuse me. And it does have more spin to it now than it did a moment ago. So as it gets to Asherville, oh my. All right. It's getting spinny there in just in the west edge of Cloud County. Bridge, can you guys hear me in there? Okay. Just be leaning forward because they're probably going to tornado warn this thing. I would bet a ham sandwich they tornado warn it. Or I'll just give you a ham sandwich. All right, so if you're in Concordia, what I'm looking at there that I'm concerned about is an area of rotation that's popped up right there, just north of the town of Asherville. And that is a good long distance from the radar sites, which makes it more of a challenge for folks to warn on those, but that's a decent amount of rotation. The second storm over here near Corinth and Ross also has more significant hook echo to it. You'll see how the spin looks in that one. And that one's got rotation as well. So if you're in Concordia, Glasgow, you should be ready to take shelter. I'm not saying do it yet, but just be ready. Just kind of have your shoes ready. If you don't know where you normally take shelter and you go to the lowest level of your house, you'll want to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. Get away from windows. Again, this is not a tornado warning at this moment, but it has that suspicious look about it. And I just want you kind of leaning forward there. If you're in Glasgow, Concordia, Jamestown, anywhere right along Highway 9, that's where I would be most concerned about this. Let's go back over the camera again. So we're looking to the west-northwest from Concordia. That's pretty close where the rotation is going to be. It's almost straight west. So I'm going to turn that camera a little bit and see if I can see past the pole. watch out. What do we have there? The right side of your screen, just kind of right behind my desk there. That could be a funnel cloud. Matter of fact, I think it is. Okay, Bridge, just be kind of leaning forward here. If I can get somebody to run on top of Cloud County Community College quickly and move the pole, will be good. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm super thankful to have any views at all. But you know, every great thing comes with a challenge of some sort, and this is a little challenge there is to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a funnel cloud. Okay. Yeah, I'm very sure it's right behind me still. This is it. So looking kind of straight west-southwest from Concordia, from Cloud County Community College, and that's going to sneak. I think I see a funnel cloud on that. You see it on the monitor? It's right here. You see it?
Yeah, I'm seeing that a little bit myself, yeah.
It's going to go behind the pole, so for about 5 minutes we'll see nothing. But it was showing up on the radar on the velocity as well. So we'll see what happens with this. But again, if you're in Concordia, if you're there in the western part of Cloud County, I want you ready to take shelter. I'm not saying run for shelter yet. If you hear sirens, of course, you know you do what you do. I'm not saying that's going to happen either, but you know we're getting that look about with the storm here, and I'm trying to get my camera positioned perfectly so I have that pole completely on the left side of my screen. If I have the pole too far out, the camera will try to focus on the pole. So I'm trying to get it just out there to where when this comes back out past this, we'll be able to see it very well. All right, so from Cloud County, from Concordia, we're looking off to the west, kind of between the towns of Lulu and Asherville. That's where I see this spin on this. And again, this is not a tornado warning yet. I don't want to scare anybody, but that might have been a funnel that I saw sneaking behind the pole we have the camera on there at Cloud County Community College. Now I'm going to check out where the rotation was again. I've been storm chasing enough times to have a pretty good idea what they look like. They don't always touch down though, so that's also good news. All right. So your rotation's right in here, just kind of getting into the west edge of Cloud County, and is moving to the northeast. So if that is a problem, I'm going to have a really good look at it, and we will holler. So Bridge, stay leaning forward with me here. Jamestown, be ready. Looks like we have tornado damage in the town of Anthony. That's down along the Oklahoma state line. So we had a tornado warning, a tornado touchdown there earlier. Doug Myers.
I held off as long as possible.
I knew you'd come in.
Oh yeah, because I plan on being here until 4 in the morning.
I know you do. How's your voice? You suffer from the allergies or whatever this is?
It's been since Mother's Day weekend. I'm still...
That long?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just catch you up in the excitement I'm seeing. There appears to be, there might be a funnel cloud that snuck behind this camera.
Why is it so loud?
Because I couldn't hear it a minute ago. So I reacted by not being able to hear it, turning it all the way, because that's what I do. And then I count on you to taper off my extremes and say, Jeremy, that's too loud. All right, so the transmission, the pole that the camera's on is right here on the left side of your screen. And it looks just almost directly west from Cloud County Community College. So I have a camera there. I'm keeping an eye on that to see if it comes out and we can see it. We also have another camera there that's at the school in town. I'm going to leave this up for a moment while I bring the other one up. Yeah, keep an eye on that. I think the other camera's looking northwest, so it won't be any better than this. It'll be in a worse spot, so I'm not even going to change. I'm going to leave it right here. So, as I was mentioning earlier, this area is not particularly close to National Weather Service radar. So the data, once you get this far out, is not as great. So having a pair of eyes on it, a camera, makes a huge difference. And a moment ago, we may have had a funnel cloud. So you can see here, now we're getting kind of a lowering there in that part of the storm, and the lightning really accentuates it. And I'm going to step over to a super high resolution monitor so I can see better. And the feature I had a few minutes ago may have completely evaporated, or it could still be hiding behind the pole the camera's hanging on there. So again, this is not a tornado warning, but it's just me telling you to lean forward around Concordia and Jamestown just in case. That rotation that was showing up on the radar is getting close to Jamestown, close to Highway 28 there. And I've got everybody on standby here. If they do tornado warn this thing, or if I saw it go down, then we would certainly go with it anyway. But at this moment, it's still a severe thunderstorm warning, and we're watching the exact right spot here just in case this was to do anything. And the Weather Service was mentioning that this is a storm they're concerned about that could become tornadic. There are other storms to the south as well, but by far this is the one that's the most threatening to anybody that's in the WIBW viewing area. So Jamestown, Concordia, be ready to take shelter. It's got more of a indentation there than it did, unless it just switched radars on me. It's probably just switched radars. It may just be more of a different look from the Topeka radar than it was from KUEX from Hastings. So there's the indentation on this. Again, that's concerning, but they have storm spotters in this area. Put it back in the velocity here. There's a couple of areas of spin in this thing now. So nothing is particularly standing out, and I've got a good set of eyes on the base of this thing, so I think we're all right. So they're saying ping pong ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, Cloud County going until 9:15. We'll zoom back out on this and check out what else is going on. Down to the south, this activity. It's just south of Wichita. This is not as impressive as it was earlier, but still severe. And it's just it's in Butler and Harvey counties at this point, making its way to the northeast. That will probably result in warnings in Lyon and Coffee County within an hour and a half or so. What we're watching for is the low-level jet stream to start kicking in. That's a feature that usually starts to develop around sunset. And basically it's strong winds around a half mile to a mile up off the ground that can start to make these things get worse when the sun goes down, which sounds odd. You would think that once the heat energy goes away that maybe they give up, but in a lot of cases they don't because of the low-level jet. Excuse me. There we go. Zoom back in onto Concordia at that view. We'll check the velocity again here. This is from the Topeka radar, which is farther away, and it's got areas of rotation to the west and north Concordia. The other radar from Hastings, the same areas. Doesn't look as intense from the radar from Hastings as it does from the one from Topeka, but both of them do show spin in there. So let's go back over to the camera. We're going to look north as well here. So I turn the interactive tools back on. Let's do that. Okay, so back to cams. There's the view from Cloud County Community College looking off to the west-northwest. This is most likely the rotation you can see that's just to the west of town. And we'll look kind of straight north here. And that's probably the rotation you're seeing to the north of town. Is that thing kind of in the top middle of your shot right there. So either one of those two is suspicious, and certainly all that stuff is rotating, there's no doubt. But from looking at it very closely, I mean, it's not touching down. I don't see debris flying or something. So, but if it does, we would certainly have a good look at it. Zoom in there more closely and get a look at it from this higher resolution monitor kind of off the side here. Yeah, this is nothing like what I saw about 10 minutes ago. It looked like a funnel was coming out of this. This is not as pronounced as it was earlier, thankfully. But we are watching it. Doug, what do you have?
Let's see. My mic on. Let's check everything here and make sure I'm positioned correctly on here, so I'm not in front of anything. Let's look at some pictures and show you how to send in your pictures. So if you go to WIBW.com/weather, go to the weather pictures, you'll have an opportunity to add media down there on the bottom right part of your screen there and upload your files that way. So let's see what we have here right now. And this is 14 hours ago, so these are still quite old. So obviously nothing happening at this moment with any storms in the viewing area. And unfortunately, a lot of these storms that we'll have tonight are going to be after sunset, so it's not really going to be a whole lot of pictures that are going to be showing up on here that we'll have from much of the overnight periods. But certainly by tomorrow, with any potential damage that's in the area, that would definitely be the time that if you do have any pictures that you want to send in from damage, flooding or what have you, make sure you're safe. That's the number one priority, but that would probably be the opportune time to start sending in those pictures by tomorrow morning rather than the actual storms at night, as a lot of it will be at night that you're not going to be able to see a whole lot. Let's see what else we have here. Daniel, do you have anything over there?
Nothing too new yet. We're still waiting for, well, I think we just got recently an update for that warning there. Just sort of changing, just continuing direction, same stats there. 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail about 1.25 inches in diameter. So we are expecting that all of those risks to really continue increasing throughout the rest of tonight. Baseball-sized hail is probably going to be that sort of larger hail that we look for. Strong winds in excess of 75, maybe even 80-mile-per-hour gusts. I think hail and winds is sort of going to be a little bit later on here as we head later into the evening as the storms sort of coalesce into a line. Right now, as storms are a little bit more scattered, there maybe some of these supercells or isolated cells are still starting or in the middle of strengthening. That's probably when we're going to see the highest likelihood for tornadoes. So I do think we will be seeing a bit of a zoom out there, but I do think we are going to see a pretty decent amount of some storm coverage here all throughout our area. Right now it's a little bit isolated and clustered throughout different areas, but we are going to see again a bit of a coalescence of those storms as we get further on here into the night. So here's a look at that picture right now. Again, storms in the northern and western reaches of our viewing area, and then towards the Wichita area, another cluster of storms that's going to be making its way here towards some of our more southernmost localities. But as the night goes on, we're very likely to see these two areas sort of combine as they move further east, probably around the time it starts to approach some of our larger population areas, such as Manhattan or Topeka. And we could be talking about seeing these storms last very late into the night. We have had a few continuations of severe weather outbreaks past sunset so far this year, but I think tonight we could go all the way up until midnight, even a little later, for seeing some severe warnings on the very edge of our area. That's going to be after it passes through Topeka and is really starting to head in towards the Kansas City area. And what we're also going to be looking for is rainfall, heavy rain from storms weaker, not really severe, but weaker storms developing behind that initial line to the point where we are going to be concerned here about seeing some flash flooding threats heading into Sunday morning. As we're waking up, we might have a lot of stagnant water there on the ground, or even some storms still pushing through, some weaker ones in the area. So that is something we will be looking for definitely, and we'll keep you updated on sort of that separate additional risk here that we don't usually get too much with severe weather, but definitely today is something we're going to be looking for in our area. So I do think right now most of us should anticipate to see these storms in totally dark conditions. I know that sun has pretty much already started to set now, and we'll try and pan that over here a little bit further. So yeah, not much too much change on the updates there. We're still going to be watching the storm that's going through Cloud County and Concordia, still watching that rotation. I'll take a brief look at that right now as well. Base velocity. Nope. Yeah, if you could just take up velocity for me real quick, Jeremy, thanks. So yeah, still seeing that over there and with that severe storm, and we'll see if there's sort of a continuation with any of those warnings or a new warning, maybe regarding tornadoes. Just check real quick what that update there was. There, Matt. Nope.
So an expiration of something that expires at 8:45?
Yeah, sorry, I'll let you scroll on that, Jeremy. But yeah, no, I think it's just maybe an update on that expiration.
Sorry, I'll get it here.
Sorry.
It's an update from Jewell County, is what that one is. So it's located over Scottville, or 7 miles northeast of Beloit, or 25, moving east to 25, and it has hail the size of a golf ball still there. That one's Jewell County.
Jewell, okay, yeah, so just a little bit north there of Cloud County, and or wait, no, sorry, yeah,
Straight west.
Jewell is elsewhere, not that's Republic, north. But yeah, definitely getting further into the area. You seen anything new on your end, Doug, or other sort of things with the storm?
Yeah, so still definitely monitoring these storms in north central Kansas, and almost somewhat surprising that they're not issuing a tornado warning for Cloud County with some of the velocity colors showing with the red and the green together. So it's almost could occur at any time that a warning could be issued for portions of Cloud County. So just something to be aware of if you are in that area, that you are getting ready to take shelter. Maybe even seek shelter already, especially just the southwest of Concordia there. It's certainly looking like it's not completely intense, but it is kind of broad rotation within there. And so that's probably why they're holding off on that warning. You know, there's a lot of people that talk about false alarms and all these tornado warnings that get issued without a tornado. And I think the Topeka office does a really good job in holding off on tornado warnings unless they actually think that there is going to be a tornado on the ground or a pretty significant chance of a tornado touching the ground. Of course, we're still shortly before sunset. We're getting close to sunset right now, so there's still just a little bit of light, hopefully with storm spotters out there, that they may be able to note if there actually is some rotation or a tornado that would eventually reach the ground. But the more we get into the next, certainly in the next 15, 20, 30 minutes, the less light we'll have as the sun continues to set. And so we're really going to rely on the radar with all these tornado warnings that are going to be issued for the rest of the night. And yeah, storm spotters could still be out there being able to see possible tornadoes on the ground during lightning strikes, but that is certainly something that we'll have to keep an eye on, to where hopefully there's not a whole lot of false alarms, but it is certainly something that offices across the country, especially down in the south where they do get more tornado warnings at night, but yeah, there could be a lot of false alarms in those areas, and that's just what they have to deal with down there versus us here in northeast Kansas, where a lot of the tornado warnings will be, especially during the afternoon or early evening hours. But it is certainly a situation where we have to be very aware that this tornado threat could last all night. It's very possible. I plan on being in here until at least 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, that could change based on conditions, but right now we're still monitoring north central Kansas, south central Kansas, maybe some more storm development over the next hour or two across other portions of northeast Kansas as we do get that increase in low-level jet. That's always something that we have to monitor, but right now it's just that severe thunderstorm warning for the Cloud County area, including Concordia, that does, let's see, that's 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail going until 9:15. And so we're still about a half hour from this warning expiring, and obviously at any point in time could produce a tornado warning. See, Jeremy, you seen anything over there?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of a different view here. First of all, this is going to be the kind of the moisture content in the air that shows you where the humidity is. We have extremely high humidity levels. Temperature still 81 at its peak, even though the sun has gone down. We have a north wind now officially in Concordia, and that's a severe storm that's moving through Cloud County now. So dew points close to 70 in Chanute and Coffeyville. It's all feeding up from the Gulf of Mexico. You have drier air near Hays and Hill City, and the severe weather threats really along this, the drier air is fighting its way in. This is a view from Concordia at the junior senior high school. This is looking across the football field there, and that's a live video you can see from town. So again, we're watching this thing super close just in case from any angle that we can get, and that's a live feed, and we're thankful to the school there for giving us that live feed. Second pair of eyes from Concordia. Anybody that's talked to me for more than about 10 minutes, especially around the TV station, knows how much I love weather cameras. So that I'll take any pair of eyes I can get. The radar helps us a bunch, but you know, at night, you know, if we can see flashes of lightning that could illuminate something like this, you know, it can help. So right now, there's a couple areas of rotation that are suspicious on this. There's a new one just southwest Concordia right there. There's ones that's just northeast of town as well, getting into Republic County. But this area is significantly far away from the National Weather Service Doppler radar. There's two of them that we're looking at here. One is from Topeka's Weather Service, which is near Alma. The other one is near Blue Hill, Nebraska, where they have a radar, and this is from the Blue Hill, Nebraska Weather Service radar that we're looking at right there. So they're both close enough to see it, but they're both kind of far. So the closer you get, the higher the resolution, the lower you can see in the atmosphere. But once you get to, you know, 60, 80, 90 miles, it's a bigger challenge to be able to pick out what's going on. All right, so from Concordia, that thing to the southwest is more hooky than it was a moment ago, so we're going to have to get more excited about that at this point. And look around there. I'm looking straight south now. And as Doug mentioned, we're going to start losing our sunlight in a few moments here. We're getting just a few more peaks of sunlight at this point, but you know, the night's going to win very shortly, and we won't be able to see much other than just between lightning strikes. So that's the view to the southwest from Emporia toward what looks like a hook to me, right about there. And I'll see if I can actually get that camera from near Glasgow from the KDOT folks. Yeah, it's on 24 Highway and 81. We'll see if I can get that one as well. So let's go back here all the way. See what comes up. I think the first thing that will come up is going to be those images with the humidity values. So I need to kick those out. There's a view from Concordia Junior Senior High School. And I need to add that frames what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I kicked it out so I had fewer frames in the show. All right, here we go. We'll take out the humidity stuff. The explanation stuff is fine earlier until we start to get actual stuff coming into the area, but now it's just time to track what is. So this is the KDOT page, CAN Drive. We're going to zoom in there at 24 and Highway 81. And look at the camera there. And this will be it. So this is looking, it says Highway 81 and 24 north. I guess it could be that bright there at this moment. That's amazing. All right. There's more sunlight there than I expected. There's a view from Concordia Junior Senior High School across a football field in town. And again, the most exciting storm we have right now in the WIBW viewing region is this thing that's in Cloud County, and this hook right about there is the thing that gives me the most concern right now. I have a pretty good set of eyes on it with the camera there looking to the southwest. There's still enough sunlight to see it, but that hook is the most dangerous thing that I see anywhere in our viewing region at this point, and you can see the spin to it right there. It's not the most pronounced spin I've ever seen, but it's enough to make you lean forward. So around Concordia, Aurora, you folks should be ready to take shelter just in case. And down to the south, we're watching storms that are getting into areas like Butler County, and also storms are expanding up toward Coffee County. This activity coming from Wichita moving northeastward is likely to stay strong, or probably congealing into a bunch of strong straight line winds is what the computer models have been showing. As we zoom out, you can see this large cluster of storms, not just here. We have tornado watches lined up from the Nebraska state line all the way to Texas, with temperatures still very warm ahead of this. And our computer models, I'm going to go to the, this is the HRRR, and by 11 o'clock midnight, you can see it kind of whipping through here. It leaves us with maybe some hailstorms that last past midnight. These two will run through without stopping, and have a couple of versions that are closer looks that actually stop for you, give you a better timeline of this. So by 9 or 10 o'clock, now we get this version of graph actually takes the more dangerous stuff off to the east pretty early. Not sure that'll go quite that fast, but both computer models do keep storms around until well after midnight, and this stuff's probably going to produce hail to wake people up at all hours tonight. There's the HRRR, which is not quite as aggressive on timing. The other model took it all the way to Missouri, this part of it, by that point. This is more likely, but Emporia, Burlington, around 10 p.m., you're getting kind of the severe stuff moving in. As you get past midnight, we'll have kind of the backside of the storm with these storms will most likely be producing large hail, probably the wee hours of the morning, waking people up really all night long in many spots. Doug, anything new?
See, well, we got an update on the severe thunderstorm warning for Cloud County, so go ahead and open that up and see what it says. Located 5 miles west of Concordia, moving east at 35 miles per hour with ping pong ball size hail, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So Concordia and Jamestown are in the line of that storm system that continues to push through the county. Right now, as I mentioned, it is just a severe thunderstorm warning. It's not a tornado warning, but it is still showing some signs of rotation. Not quite enough for the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning with it, but enough to be monitoring it very closely, and obviously just prepare for the point in time that we could have a warning being issued with this warning within the next half hour during this severe thunderstorm warning. So definitely something that we'll have to keep a very close eye on. Of course, it's coming with very heavy rainfall, lightning as well. So we also want to take that seriously as well. Not a good idea to be outside at all. Well, if you're in especially the northern half of Cloud County, you might be able to get away with being okay if you're in southern part of the county, but obviously if you see lightning or hear thunder, it would not be a good idea. And seeing what else we have here, severe thunderstorm warning for Jewell and Mitchell County. So we continue to monitor all these warnings that are in Cloud County and areas just out to the north and to the west with all these severe thunderstorm warnings. We don't have any tornado warnings across the country. What you see here in this dialog box there on the bottom right part of your screen is all the warnings across the country. The pink, I know it's very hard to read, but the pink is severe thunderstorm warnings. The green is flash flood warnings, and I'm not sure what this blue is. It almost looks like some coastal part. Oh, now I got to bring it back up to the Topeka
I can
site
take
here.
it. Let me show you guys what's going on over here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This is the live view from the Concordia camera at Cloud County Community College. Look at this tree that's right there just outside the college. It's taking a beating now. So we have very strong winds with this. It's at least 60 miles per hour. You have a little rotation with that that's showing up on the radar in several spots around Concordia, especially just south of town. So we're looking at right there, you can see the wind turbines. If you're in Concordia, you know Concordia pretty well. This is looking straight south from the college. Look how fast that wind turbine is spinning right now with those powerful winds that are whipping through town. So looking a little farther around to the east here, we'll look over toward Blosser Airport, and you'll see the wind in the city of Concordia. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's not a tornado warning. But we've been watching the rotation there, and something you'll notice here is also these light poles in the parking lot of the hospital across the street there. Once you get those things really dancing around like that, the winds are extremely strong to create that. So this is not just a typical thunderstorm. This is definitely something that's severe and will cause some damage. Again, that tree that I showed you a moment ago to south of the college was really taking some wind. They don't tend to dance quite this much in just a general thunder shower. So there's going to be some limbs down there. We could even have some power outages in Cloud County from this. So that's how it looks right now.
Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Washington County.
Okay. All right, so Washington County, that's up
Yeah,
here.
so here's the warning here. So what this radar is showing, our level 2 radar, it is actually showing some spin and rotation. So if you're in Washington County now, we have to be monitoring that potential for maybe a tornado warning being issued there. Right now, it's still going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. I'll go ahead and read the text on that. And this is going to be going until 9:15 as well, just like the Cloud County one, located near Morrowville, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So it's a pretty fast-moving storm system. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, $half size hail. We have Washington, Hanover, Morrowville, Haddam, and Hollenberg in the cities of concern within this 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and $half size hail type storm. And so again, it does. We don't have any tornado warnings, but they are showing some rotation at times. So definitely want to be mindful of the Cloud County and Washington County storms that have severe thunderstorm warnings attached to them, that they could quickly become tornado warnings. So just be aware of that. Just be ready to go in your safe shelter if you are not already in one, just in case. Now, again, for the rest of Northeast Kansas, we're really going to see this really start to increase in coverage with the storms over the next couple of hours. So, I'm looking at chat, and I know you guys want to ask about your particular city. We just don't know when it's going to get into the city. Storms can develop at any point in time, anywhere. That I don't want to give you a timing of what these storms are going to do, because they are pretty much just moving in our northwestern communities right now. They're not really moving a whole lot eastward. We're also keeping an eye on these storms in the southern portions of Kansas, and we'll keep an eye on those to see how much they move into the area. So it's very hard to give a timing as far as particular cities are concerned. You just have to be ready for storms at any point in time through the night. Now, I do think the vast majority of Northeast Kansas will at least get something before midnight, and of course the storms continuing after midnight as well, but it is going to be something that we'll have to continue to keep an eye on through much of the night. That storms are going to last all night. Now, what kind of severity they'll be? Will they become tornadic even into the overnight periods? Or will they just become a hail, wind, and flooding threat? That's going to be something that we just have to continue to fine-tune as the night progresses. I certainly would not be surprised if at the very least we had a severe thunderstorm watch being issued for the eastern half of our viewing area. Right now it's a tornado watch for our western portions of our viewing area. And so we'll see what happens. And that goes until 1 a.m., by the way. And so for the rest of the eastern half of the viewing area, and includes Topeka, Emporia, pretty much everyone across to the east, that would be something that we'll watch for as far as if there's going to be a severe thunderstorm watch or not. And we can take a look, and we can always take a look at, let me look at the risk maps. So if you go to our webpage, on the weather page, go to risk maps here, you can actually monitor the risks yourself as well. So here's that tornado watch that includes Manhattan, just to the west of Topeka and Shawnee County, but from Seneca down towards Burlington, Emporia, you are in the tornado watch right now, and then areas off to the east are not in anything at all, but I certainly would not be surprised if at the very least a severe thunderstorm watch was issued for the overnight periods for areas especially along and east of Highway 75. But coming down here, this is what we can look at on the HER computer models, and that tornado risk that goes in a 12-hour loop. So,
hey, Doug.
Yeah.
I've got something weird I'm going to bring up here.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the next one.
Computer. Yeah. Bring it up. Step off for me there, if you would, for a second there. All right. This is just something I just noticed. There's a huge dust cloud just south of Council Grove. Showing up the weather camera there. I want you guys to see this, and this is not particularly close to any storms at this time, but it's one of those things I just kind of noticed. All right, I'm going to bring up the camera here on this, And frankly, I was a little shocked. If you see anything mentioned with the Weather Service on this, let me know. Or is there a wind warning or anything going on in Council Grove? Look at this. Right there across that field, just south of town, there is blowing dust that's just ripping from southeast, to northwest toward town. So I don't know what that is. Can you see it pretty well? On the it's more visible on the big one here. This is a huge dust cloud. Council Grove, the city limits is to the downtown is just right there. That's a dust cloud just ripping in from the south. It's from the southeast. You're looking toward Emporia that way, and then the city in Council Grove is just on the right side of the screen. So that's not in a thunderstorm at all.
No, there's no rain at all in that area.
So I don't know if there's a high wind warning or I don't know what that even is. But I can tell you just from looking at the dust flying there's some sort of strong wind there that's ripping across Council Grove. And if I pan a little to the right here, I'll have Daniel take over for a moment. That cloud of dirt is just rushing right at the city of Council Grove right now. So just kind of a weird sight there and just an extra part of the storm. All right, Daniel, I'll hit the play button here, and you can take over for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, yeah, here's again.
Is there a mic on?
There we go. Sorry. Microphone now on. But, yeah, this is the camera there here at the Concordia Junior Senior High School. Getting more lightning flashes now. Definitely seeing more rain starting to move into that view of the camera. So continuing that severe thunderstorm warning, and it looks like we are going to still see that area here continue to move off towards the east. Probably going to see this cluster hang around most of our northern counties there along the border. But again, eventually we are going to see an extension. These gaps, maybe not 100% filled, but I think we are going to see most of northeast Kansas over the next several hours get a line of some storms passing through. The vast majority of us seeing at least some sort of severe warning. And of course, the tornadoes, large hail, strong winds on the table for all of us. South of I-70, south of Topeka is where we initially had some of those regions of some stronger expectations for those events, but still very, very possible everywhere else. And the further east that you are here, including Topeka especially, that's going to be the later that we see any of these risks really start to impact us. So close to midnight possibly for northeast Kansas here before we head into the very early morning hours and we start to see that move towards the Kansas City area. Now, aside from the severe threat or the typical severe risks we usually have, we're also going to be very closely watching for the rates of rainfall, especially of any storms that may end up there behind it, especially that line of initial severe weather moving out of the area. Some more storms will fill in and definitely give us a pretty decent amount of rainfall. So we can see right now that for the most part, these amounts of rain that we're seeing, these rates, not too concerning, something you'd really typically expect for storms of this caliber, but it will be interesting to see. We'll be checking back for these rainfall rates later tonight as the storms sort of form a line. We see some development behind that initial line as to what that may be and how that may impact us as we're waking up here on Sunday morning here in northeast Kansas. So we'll go back to that base velocity here, just give a little bit of a checkup here on how those winds look to be rotating, and we'll switch over there one more time, but still going to probably we can anticipate a couple of tornado warnings tonight. We'll see which ones are on the ground. It's going to be hard because of the nighttime conditions here, so we'll see how that really does manage to continue and form here in our area. So now we'll get, there we go, base velocity. So again, we can see that for the Concordia storm and the ones moving through here, Clay, Riley, and Cloud County right now, but we'll be heading into Washington and Clay County for some of those warnings, I assume, pretty later on as well. So that is going to be something we keep on watching. Elsewhere, it's not really looking like we're seeing too much concern with those storms further south here, at least yet for rotation near the Wichita area, but we'll definitely be watching those as well, especially as these ones in particular sort of follow the path of Interstate 35 there and head towards Emporia, Council Grove, Osage City, Burlington, that region. is sort of where we'll have these storms be moving to. We'll take another quick switch here to base reflectivity so we can get that shown again. Oh, yeah, there we go. So overall, yeah, the storm's still continuing down in Oklahoma, or I should say, sorry, further south in Kansas and into Oklahoma. We still have some storms developing as well. But now we are watching, I believe, in the Storm Prediction Center's recent outlook for most of that moderate risk, that 4 out of 5 risk we were talking about over the last several days, to be more concentrated here in Kansas. I don't think that same threat is going to extend into Oklahoma much longer. So we will be seeing as those storms continue to develop here, but it looks like Kansas, maybe not northeast Kansas, but definitely in Kansas is sort of going to be, I think, the main stage for any sort of development over the next several hours heading into the nighttime hours. But yeah, still for now, those severe warnings do look to be the same. We'll take a bit of a zoom out here to show you, again, in Oklahoma, sort of a stabilization. We had a lot of some storms there forming earlier, a couple of tornado warnings. I believe a few were confirmed as well, but not really so much right now, especially there in the center part of the state where Oklahoma City and those really tornado-prone areas are. A bit of a lack there of that development, whereas here in Kansas, you can see lots of different warnings here, and not just in our area, but also further southwest towards the Wichita region as well. So again, something to look for. Again, here's a look at the current watches right now, and I'll give a minute there to Jeremy here to show us something new.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you guys the this cloud in around Council Grove again. Just come over here, Daniel.
Yep.
If you would, and I'll show this cloud of dust that's flying there around Council Grove. It's really just odd, and I asked the Weather Service, what's up with this thing? But it's not an area where it's storming or raining. It looks like maybe even some outflow from these storms that are farther to the south, maybe, but it's coming from southeast to northwest, kind of coming from the Dunlap area and the ripping to the northeast, right across, just very close to downtown Council Grove, is where I'm seeing this. And so again, it's coming from the southeast toward the northwest. So at a minimum, we're seeing a strong low-level wind still feeding into those storms to the north, which would give us the confidence this stuff is not ready to weaken at any point. We see something ripping across the ground like that, like those clouds that are that dust cloud that's right there in Council Grove. That's not the kind of thing that you generally see when storms are starting to give up their intensity. So I'm going to check out another view here. I want to look from the WIBW transmission tower and see if I see any of that on this camera. And I don't at this time, but this is the direction that would be going if we were to see something like that. I'm going to check out the view from Emporia as well real quick and just see if I see the what's going on with that. But certainly there's strong winds that are whipping across areas there near Council Grove. I'd say it's in excess of 50 miles per hour, maybe stronger, judging by how low it's staying to the ground. But I don't see, there's no storm or anything like that that's close to it. So just one more aspect of this that we're looking at. And it may not be visible if that particular spot hadn't been just so dry, but most likely the fact that it's been so dry there is contributing to the high visibility of that part of the storm. All right, so Concordia, you still have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. And the details on this are going to be, let's see, the Concordia warning there. We've got hail the size of $50, winds to 60, and that warning goes till 9:30 p.m. And the northern warning here goes up into Washington County. And this one, details here with this one are going to be Morrowville and Washington. We have hail the size of $50. Also winds gusting as high as 60 miles per hour. This says train spotters actually saw hail the size of $50 in Morrowville just a couple of minutes ago. So that storm is confirmed to be producing hail that big. And then down to the south, we are watching you guys from Emporia to Burlington for these storms that are coming up from the southwest. A concern I had was that coming up, obviously. But, I start watching this big dust cloud ripping across the Council Grove folks there. I'm just trying to figure out what's up with that. But it's not an area where there's a heavy storm. It's not a tornado threat or something like that. It's just there is a dust storm basically ripping in from the southeast toward the northwest across Council Grove. Doug, what do you have?
Are you able to go to the watches on your graphics there? Because I think we might have updates on the tornado watch. Are we able to show the watch graphic there? It's weird because some of it is coming in and some of it's not on like the chat and everything and getting the alerts, but I think we have a new watch that was issued for the rest of Northeast Kansas. And that would go until 5 a.m.
5 a.m. All right. So as Doug mentioned, we have a new tornado watch just issued. This is going to go till 5 a.m. So for folks that are wondering, is Topeka going to be in this? Yes, Topeka is in this. So this additional part of the watch goes till 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'll see if I can get any text on here. I highly doubt it's a PDS. No. Hail to 2 inches, wind gusts to 80 miles per hour are possible with this. So what we're really expecting with this over the next few hours is this will all congeal into one big nasty line of wind that could have embedded tornadoes is the most likely result of this. And we dive into the east, southeast toward the Ozarks. All right, here's my least favorite warning that exists. There's the severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, that says for Jewell and Mitchell counties. So that is not a tornado warning. It is just kind of one step below a tornado warning where they're saying we're looking at it and we're concerned and we might issue a tornado warning in time, so lean forward. So that's what we'll tell you there is Jewell and Mitchell counties has the severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. So we are watching that dude. And in the town of Concordia itself, we still have extremely heavy rain as well as possibility of hail. It could be up the size of $half, and winds certainly 60 miles per hour are a good possibility there with the severe storm that's moving through. There's the view there from Concordia Junior Senior High School, looking across the football field there. And then in Concordia itself, you've got a little hook that's moving across town. And we'll check out the cameras again and check out the view there from Cloud County Community College and see if there's anything suspicious. In this case, whatever suspicious might show up is going to be right on top of the camera. And it can kind of see every direction except for straight up. If it did point straight up, you just see kind of a circulation. It'd be hard to even read what you were looking at. Looking south there, very strong winds in town, likely close to 60 miles per hour. I'm pretty sure we'll have some tree damage in Concordia. If nothing, may have some other things damaged as well. So there's the view of the flags across the street at the hospital right now. With, again, that severe storm that's continuing in Cloud County. The one they're concerned about for the potential tornado, they said tornado possible, is this one over here that is on the line between Mitchell and Jewell counties, and radar indicated on that, so we will see what they do. Doug, what do you got?
Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm watch that is being issued for portions of Marshall and Washington County, and for some reason it's not. Some of it's getting into my Twitter account first, and then it comes into the chat, and then maybe it'll come up on here. So I don't know why things are coming in waves, so I'm trying to wait for it to actually pop up so I can read you the description. It is going to come with 70 mile per hour wind gusts with this storm system. Okay, there we go. Now we got it. So and go ahead and read it, and there you just saw the warning pop up there too. So this is going until 10 p.m., and so this is going to be a severe thunderstorm that's located 4 miles southwest of Hanover, moving east at about 40 miles per hour, 70 mile per hour wind gusts, and ping pong ball size hail with this. So we've got Marysville, Hanover, Greenleaf, Beatty, Okedo, Hollenberg, and Bremen in this warning. So it's basically going to be that storm cell that's in Washington that will continue to progress eastward into Marshall County with those strong winds and the large hail that we'll definitely be keeping an eye on. And so with that size hail, ping pong ball size hail, that could certainly do quite a bit of damage. Did have a report of quarter-sized hail a couple minutes ago in Concordia, and so a little bit less hail in that particular storm back here in Concordia, but we're certainly getting some pretty large hail. Kind of seeing that within the velocity with that orange color showing up right over Washington right now, and that is definitely concerning when it comes to the hail. Let's see. We have another, we have another warning. No, I think that was just from the previous warning.
Doug, this thing in Washington County is really nasty. The strong winds on this could be 80 miles per hour or more is what the radar showing. All right, I'll zoom in on this and show you what I'm picking out here. And so right there, getting close to Marysville is where the strongest of the straight line winds are. I've got the interactive tools disabled here so I can run it off the screen. So I'll bring that back up to where it needs to be. And again, close to Marysville is where I see this area of very powerful winds going at this point. So back on just the reflectivity from one radar here. So the potential for tornadoes is there. This is really wrapping up. That Hanover should be ready to take shelter really right now. Let's go back to the velocity here. You're starting to get some higher end velocity numbers on this. So these dark blues in here tend to be over 100 miles per hour, or over 80 miles per hour, not 100, but over 80. What are we ringing it? What are we ringing here? All right. All right. Let me shut that down. All right, so around Hanover to Marysville, you should be taking shelter. You should be ready to take shelter just in case. That storm has very strong straight line winds in it, and no doubt you can see it's all just rotating around a central point there. I'm not saying tornado, but it's not far from it at this point. It's a broad rotation. A tighter rotation indicates you're more likely to have a tornado. In this case, your strongest straight line winds, or strongest winds of the cloud here, are going from southeast to northwest near Hanover to Hollenberg, and then a few miles away, you've got Washington. It looks to me like it's 80 miles per hour, or at least close to it, going in the other direction. So if you had those within a pixel or two of each other, it's more problematic. So the Weather Service warning here says 70 mile per hour winds are possible with this, and they're also saying it's observed. So they have had observations of large hail and damaging wind with this. Hey, Bridge, when we have a national break, I want to be able to go on with that. When it gets wild, we'll go full if we need to, but if we do have a national break, I want to go with that, please. All right, so I'm going to show you the view from Concordia again here, where the extreme wind and heavy rain are moving in. Again, there's even a hook there with this. This is going to look that way. There's going to be just some suspicious-looking storms that will be ongoing probably much of the night. There'll be storms that look scary and don't do much. There'll be storms like this. This is certainly at least 60 mile per hour winds, and you can just tell how heavy the rain is there from Clyde County Community College as you just look across the street toward the new hospital there. Panning down here, you can see just the downpour of rain there in the city. So, this is the kind of stuff you're going to see on and off tonight. And we do have the risk of seeing some flash flooding tonight with this activity as well. There's the live look from the Concordia Junior Senior High School. You can't even see the football field there, just really right across the street. So that's that storm that's in Cloud County right now, right over Concordia. And then the area to the north is where we have this, what I see is very strong winds, most likely. The Weather Service is 70 miles per hour, so we'll go with that. But it certainly could. That number could be brought up. We have quarter-size hail near Washington. We have quarter-size hail in Concordia reported. All right, Doug, what else do you have? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so as we continue to keep an eye on these storms in our northwestern part of our viewing area, obviously the big question is timing of when these storms are going to hit the rest of northeast Kansas. And as I continue to talk about, we're still going to see a pretty intense increase in storm coverage over the next couple of hours. Now, where they end up developing, how they continue to move through the area, what kind of severity they will have, it's not something we can tell you right now. We just can't. There's no way. That's why we're here. That's why we're streaming as we continue to watch these storms on a minute-by-minute basis. If we knew exactly when the storms would be, we would tell you and just move on for the rest of the night. Oh, we're not going to get a tornado warning until 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. We just can't do that. We don't know. So it's about how these storms interact with the atmosphere, how they interact with other storms, where they developed. We're not getting a whole lot of activity across the rest of northeast Kansas. It's really in the northwestern section of our viewing area. We're not getting any tornado warnings, not only here in northeast Kansas, but across the country, as well as I'm keeping my eye on the national warnings there on that particular pop-up menu there. There's a lot of purple showing showing up, which is the severe thunderstorm warnings. And a lot of these warnings are coming with some large hail, ping pong ball sized hail, and 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. And so that is going to be something that could certainly increase in intensity as well over the next couple of hours. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire for Washington County as this storm continues to push into Marshall County. So it will expire at, I believe, at 9:30, or I think it may have expired already. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, it has moved out of the area. So Washington County, you are fine with any severe thunderstorm warnings. Obviously, you're still getting some very heavy rainfall in that area, but the more intense part of the storm with the hail and wind threat has now pushed into Marshall County. And then all this severe thunderstorm warnings that are back out to the west. Now, typically we want to look for isolated storms to indicate that there could be a decent chance for a tornado. But I was watching the storms up in Nebraska and Iowa Friday morning, and there were quite a bit of tornado warnings within just a broad area of thunderstorms. And that's potentially what we could get tonight, just embedded circulations and rotations that may that may bring a tornado warning to the area. So it's not going to be your typical standalone isolated storms that we may get tonight prompting tornado warnings. It may just been some circulations within the broad area of a storm that pushes into the area, like Iowa and Nebraska got from Friday morning. And so that's going to be something to watch out for. It looks like there's a special weather statement potentially about these winds. Wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles per hour expected outside of thunderstorms through much of the evening along and south of I-70 with local higher amounts, with the winds diminishing after midnight. So this actually does include Anderson, Coffee, Dickinson, Douglas, Franklin, Gary, Lyon, Morris, Osage, Shawnee, and Wabaunsee counties. So even though there are no storms anywhere close to you, like we were talking about in Council Grove with that look like a dust storm, these storms can or just the winds in general could intensify up to 50 miles per hour or greater. And so that's also going to be something to be aware of as well. And so as we continue tonight, tornado watch continues for much of the area until 5 a.m. You want to have ways to receive warnings that will wake you up at night. Have that weather radio ready to go. Have the WIBW weather app. Maybe even have another app that could wake you up, and for some reason something happens to the WIBW weather app to where it doesn't go off quick enough. I recommend, I'm a Red Cross volunteer, and I always recommend the Red Cross emergency app. That's also a great app to have that you can actually click on the radius of when you want that warning to be issued with that notification on your phone and whatever warning that you want. So maybe even have multiple apps on your phone that will get you the warning. Please do not have the outdoor sirens being that primary way to receive a warning that will wake you up at night. Remember, that is meant for people outside to go inside to seek additional information. It's not meant to be heard inside. If you can hear it from inside, that's a bonus, but don't count on that as your primary source to receive warnings. So just something to be aware of as we continue with these storms for much of the night, even while you're asleep, that you want to make sure that you have a way to receive those warnings at night. Daniel?
Well, yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike again. Sorry. Go. Still, yeah, watching these storms move through, again, as Doug's saying, it's really concentrated in areas to the north and west there along the Nebraska border. Elsewhere, we're not really seeing that development take off all that quickly. Again, I think eventually we're going to start to see these spots fill up a little bit. Not maybe not a complete, concise line here that extends really from north to south throughout our area, but at least a greater coverage of these cells that will eventually start to push towards each other and make their way further on east. So that is something we will be watching, and we'll be watching for the threats to sort of evolve as that does so. You know, the tornado risk, again, sort of goes down a little bit as those storms coalesce. Still could definitely see some. Again, Doug was saying they get embedded there, those circulations in that line of storms, but the risk for those big, strong, isolated tornadoes that come from the supercells maybe will be, that risk will be going down just a little bit more with that development here of those storms. So we'll go there to base velocity here in just a second, getting that. Yeah, sorry, Jeremy, if you could just bring me there to velocity. I'm having trouble clicking that, but I just want to take a look at the storm further towards in Washington County to look at those values, because we did see, again, those bluer colors that indicates a good amount of some stronger winds there pushing ahead of the storm. So you can see that kind of running ahead a little bit. So you might be getting some strong gusts there in Marysville soon, maybe even a little bit ahead of when thunder and lightning is going to be right over your area. Again, this is also, I believe, the storm that was producing some hail about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches in size. Right now we've, or over the course of the last 20 to 30 minutes, we've seen some photos from these areas showing, I think, nickel and quarter-sized hail. Nothing too much bigger than that yet, but do want to emphasize baseball-sized hail, maybe even a little bit bigger than that, is still going to be possible over the next several hours, especially while storms are still a little more scattered. So something there that we will be watching for, and we'll continue to watch this velocity here in this general area of storms just to see if we really start to see more rotation. I know earlier near Concordia we were concerned about some of that rotation, but seems to not really be looking as impressive as it was earlier. But it really only takes a moment for those winds and that velocity to really start giving us those signatures that could very well lead to a tornado, or at the very least give us a funnel cloud that would prompt a radar indicated warning from the National Weather Service. So again, that's something we'll be watching very closely here, and we'll keep panning back and forth between some of our areas as more storms develop. But luckily, as of right now, we don't need to worry too much here, besides looking again further to the north and west in our region. The velocity on those storms further to the south near the Wichita area is also looking, again, not too strong. So we'll shift there to I think it's because my hand's on there in the way, but yeah, we get the velocity, sorry, reflectivity going. I'll let Jeremy manually go there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Zooming in. Yeah, no, sorry. It's looking for, again, some of those velocity signatures, those winds, and we'll switch over to reflectivity. I'll let Jeremy just switch over to that just to go and give us a view, seeing how we see the structure of those forms, and looking at those current warnings. Again, not much changing for the moment. Still have those original polygons from earlier. I know Concordia, interestingly, we do have sort of that warning inside a warning, it looks like. I guess that is correct, because we still have those two running at the same time. And I did see on the radar a few moments ago there was sort of a increase in the convection specifically over Concordia, so that may be the reason for it. But yeah, we'll look at the camera right now and seeing, now nightfall here, lots of flashes of thunder and lightning, but it doesn't look to be too torrential of rain. The winds don't look to be too intense at the moment, so that is good news here for an area that is within the midst of a severe thunderstorm warning right now. So definitely could be seeing a lot stronger conditions as a result of that from these storms continuing to develop. So we will be continuing to monitor those. But as though for the rest of Northeast Kansas, things are clear for now. I mean, we are starting to see, again, a little bit of that gap being filled further to the west of Wichita, some isolated cells that will be developing, and very likely that will be a couple of severe warnings from those as well. We do have a tornado warning now, it looks like, in northern Oklahoma, which is, again, a bit of a resurgence after we've gone, I believe, over the last 30 minutes or to an hour without really seeing a tornado warning within any of the regions that are affected by tonight's severe weather. So this goes until 10 p.m. Central Time there for parts of northern Oklahoma along Interstate 35. But
it's quite the interesting shape there on that warning polygon.
Yeah, and I was going to say there's a little bit of a bottleneck there towards the end, which might just be for the purpose of trying to have it fit neatly in with that severe warning. Yeah, it's like a puzzle piece there, a jigsaw. So, but we will be watching for scenarios like that, though. Tornado warnings indicated on our radar to be popping up here if we think, or not if we think, but if we see what's reported from the National Weather Service and what's issued, we'll have the immediate jump in coverage on that here. You got anything new there over there, Doug, on your end?
No, but as we are getting close to the 10 o'clock newscast and really no signs of tornado warnings, Davis, what are we thinking of? When do you need to code for the 10 o'clock show? 5 minutes? Okay. Yeah, so yeah, well, okay. So yeah, as we continue to monitor these storms, we may just be able to break here for the half hour in between so we can reset, because it is going to be a long night with this tornado watch going until 5 a.m. So because I don't see any potential for anything that may pop up fairly quickly, and if it does, okay, we're ending it at 9:35. So just to let you know, we're ending this live stream at 9:35, and obviously we'll pick it back up again after the 10 o'clock newscast. And obviously, if anything, any tornado warnings are issued, we'll of course be on live WIBW 13. So we continue to keep an eye on these severe thunderstorm warnings that continue with, well, we have that 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and ping pong ball size hail for the Washington Marshall County severe thunderstorm warning that continues to progress eastward at 40 miles per hour. Let's see, I got our warning sound done. Let's see if there's an update on one of the warnings. May just be an expiration on one of them. But Washington, Marshall, and Cloud County all in severe thunderstorm warnings with 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, ping pong ball size hail potentially on some of those stronger storms. We're still seeing a little bit of rotation with it, but not to the points where it's really that much of a concern that a tornado warning needs to be issued. Remember, I talked about this earlier tonight on the Topeka office here at the National Weather Service in Topeka does a pretty good job and not producing too many false alarms when it comes to tornado warnings. When they issue one, there's a pretty decent chance that a tornado warning or a tornado did touch down in that area. But it is certainly something that because we're going to get these small pockets of circulation being at night, we're not going to have a whole lot of people watching these storms because they're at night, and you need to see that when the lightning strikes. There may just be a few more compared to what we would otherwise get if it was during the daytime hours and we'd be able to see it. So don't be surprised by that we do get some tornado warnings into the overnight periods. Remember that tornado watch for many spots go until 5 a.m. To where there might be some tornado warnings that get issued when no tornado touches down, but we still need to take those seriously, and those severe thunderstorm warnings seriously too. There still is that threat that as we continue to get later in the night, some of these severe thunderstorm warnings could produce 70 to potentially 80 mile per hour wind gusts. We still can't rule that out. That can do just as much damage as a weak tornado. So if you do get a warning for a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, look at the tag on it. Look at what it's coming with. What kind of wind is it coming with? Obviously the hail. And be aware of that. If it's coming with 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, definitely you almost want to take it just as seriously as a tornado warning. Get away from windows and go into your safe shelter. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, it depends on how far away you are from the window, but you definitely want to stay away from windows and severe thunderstorm warnings. But certainly when it gets to 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, you definitely want to almost treat it like a tornado warning because it can do just as much damage as a weak tornado. Jeremy, do you have anything you want to add in the last 5 minutes of this live stream?
Yeah, Doug, I would just say, we're gonna end the live stream here, but if we have anything high end pop out, if there's 80 mile per hour wind gusts, certainly a tornado, funnel cloud report or whatever it be, we'll jump in on TV immediately. We're gonna have the 10 o'clock news coming up in just 29 minutes here, so we'll have full updates there. This tornado watch from Topeka over into western Missouri goes until 5 o'clock in the morning. So we will be here late covering this. As of this moment, the most concerning things that we see are this thing moving in the northwest part of Marshall County, which has some spin with it. Most likely winds are 60 or 70 miles per hour. The storm's coming across Cloud County. Could have winds to 60 or 70 miles per hour and hail the size of quarters to golf balls are possible. And then we have more activities lined up. There are storms in south central Kansas near Wichita. They're also climbing northeast toward areas like Concordia and Burlington. And ultimately, late tonight, we expect to see all of this kind of form one evil ball of wind that rips across the Ozarks down toward Springfield, Missouri. And these storms will continue making their way east. We'll see more storms falling in right behind this, most likely. So it's going to be a long night of weather and severe storms. I can't say for sure we'll see a tornado touch down in the area, but you've seen what kind of year this has been. We've seen the weather outperforming the averages. We've also seen weird things like the tornado Overbrook earlier this year was only the fifth one ever recorded in Kansas since the 1950s. Only the fifth one to happen between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. So we've seen some really weird stuff this year already. So this will be an active night of severe weather, no doubt. And we could have more tornado warnings later on in the night. So again, we're going to start 13 News at 10 coming up in about 27 minutes here. We will restart the live stream going after the 10 o'clock news and keep going, and then we'll break in on TV as needed throughout the night. So stay with us here on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, WIBW.com, and of course on TV. We will keep you safe and informed all night long.